Live, this is News Channel 8 at 6 on your side.
And you are looking live at the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center with 4 people inside that Orion spacecraft atop a 32-story tall rocket ready to slingshot around the moon. If all goes well, we are as little as 25 minutes away from launch. Good evening, I'm Stacy Scheibel.
And I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight we have 8 on your side team coverage of this Artemis 2 mission. Amanda Holly is at the Kennedy Space Center for us.
Rebecca Berry is keeping an eye on the weather and how it might affect the launch. We are going to begin tonight with Amanda.
Yeah, we are here live at Kennedy Space Center, just 3.5 miles from that launch pad where those astronauts are awaiting this launch, possibly in less than 30 minutes. Still breezy. The clouds are still clearing out, so weather really not a concern there, which Rebecca will talk about here in just a second. We've talked just within the last hour. They are working through a couple of issues. They have cleared one of those issues. They're continuing to look at the launch abort system, though. That cone on top of the rocket, which would keep the astronauts safe in the event of some sort of emergency. So we're watching that. The countdown clock, though, still counting down right now.
And Amanda, that's a good thing, right? I mean, the clock is ticking. We're talking about 685,000 miles on this journey. It's 10 days, but no one's landing on the moon this time around. I mean, this is one of those lunar flybys. Talk a little bit about what's going to happen day 1 through day 10.
Yeah, so it's a stepping stone, right? The first mission we sent with this rocket had no astronauts on board. Next stepping stone is that we put astronauts on board. We're testing out some life support systems, things like that. But shortly after launch, they've got about a 24-hour series of system checks where the pilot is going to take manual control over the spacecraft. They're going to, maneuver it around just a little bit. Most of this stuff that is happening over the next 10 days is automated, which is great. But in case of an emergency, they have to be able to control it, and they want to test that while they're still relatively close to Earth. So they're going to do that over the next 24 hours while they're still nearby. Then they are going to ignite their engine on the Orion spacecraft and leave the, protection here of Earth, head into deep space, do that one loop around the moon before they come back. During that time, they're going to be doing a bunch of research. They are going to go beyond the moon. They're going to look at some parts of the moon that we have never before seen with the human eye. So that's going to be really exciting. They're going to be looking at a spot where we want to land eventually with Artemis 4. So again, they're not landing, but they're doing the research to pave the way to do that, and then hopefully eventually build a base there and stay and continue to do research.
So exciting about this. I know they were even selling tickets to the launch. We're right now about 22 minutes away from the opening of that 2-hour window. Let's say there is some sort of issue that they only need to push things back. That window lasts then until 8:24. So there is the potential for a liftoff anytime in that window.
Absolutely, yes. And if there is an issue that leads up into this launch time, you will see the countdown clock pause at T-minus 6 minutes, L-minus 6 minutes there. And that is a stopping point, a good stopping point for the teams to kind of pause everything and let the closeout team, the working team that is working on that issue, fix whatever needs to be fixed. And that countdown would pause there at 6 minutes until they fix it. And then it'll count down, hopefully, until launch, if they have, enough time in the window.
All right, sounds good. I know you're going to stand by. You're going to watch it. We'll watch right along with you. Amanda Holly live at the Kennedy Space Center. Thank you.
And time now to check in with meteorologist Rebecca Berry. Is everything looking good weather-wise?
Weather-wise is improving. I know a lot of people were getting a little alarmed when there were some showers there earlier this afternoon, but we've got easterly winds, and that has pushed those showers over Polk County at this point. And so our viewing is looking a little cloudy, and so we are within this ring right here for most of us, which is meaning that we would start to see that between 30 and 40, we would start to see the smoke trail between 30 and 40 seconds after launch. If it does go at 6:24, it'd be 30 seconds after that. But once it gets above 70 seconds, the rocket's above 40,000 feet, and that's out of the visibility range. And so there are a lot of clouds in between us and that, and so that's one thing that may impede our local view a little bit. But of course, we can always watch Amanda, and as the launch, and she's bringing it to us live. You can see the clouds have kind of moved on. They've got generally clear skies. They look at they look at clouds about 10 miles away from the launch site, because that's the ones they'll be flying through. And I'm not seeing any of the clouds that would cause them to pause caused the launch on satellite and radar right now. This is the satellite and radar. You can see things have really dried up in the past half hour or so. Now, locally, we do have some showers pushing our way because of those same strong easterly winds. They've put those showers through Polk County, and we're looking generally quiet after that. We'll take a look at that record-challenging heat and the Easter weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. Tonight, there are some new questions about that potential Rays Stadium deal, such as how much will it really cost and what are we allowed to see?
Hillsborough County commissioners are clashing over transparency and whether documents related to the deal should be released right now. News Channel 8's Georgia MacArthur joins us live. She sat in listening to that meeting today. What's the very latest, Georgia?
Yeah, Stacy and Keith, when it comes to access to information, that seemed to have struck a nerve between the county commissioners, which clashed over transparency. They say, how much should taxpayers be in the loop when the deal is still being finalized?
I want transparency, and I'm not making a public records request.
We've seen what the stadium could look like, but what the public hasn't seen is the deal behind it. Hillsborough County Commissioner Joshua Wostel says this could become the single largest taxpayer burden project in county history. Commissioner Wostel pushing to release draft documents he believes show just how much the deal has changed.
Just for the media and everybody else, the records in question are there. They have been shared. They should be made available to the public immediately.
While a county attorney and administrator insists no such documents have been provided.
I understood the request to release documents that were provided to us by the Rays as it relates to draft documents. That is something that we don't have.
He also warns using community investment tax dollars for a stadium could lead to legal challenges.
I want to be clear, it's not if we're going to be sued on this, it's when we get sued on this if we use CIT for a new professional sports stadium.
Some residents we spoke to share those concerns.
We might file a lawsuit against this if they go on down this road.
But other leaders warn releasing too much too soon could backfire.
What I'm trying to do is create an orderly process for how we can release information to the public and have the information released to us.
Now, to make everybody happy here, county commissioners voted to have a public workshop just so the public can be in the know before a deal can be reached. Stacy?
Just to clear some of this up, Georgia, did any of the commissioners give a reason as to why they might be hesitant when it comes to this release of information and documents surrounding the Rays deal?
Yeah, when I talked to County Commissioner Harry Cohen, he essentially said it will just really muddy the water. It will cause disruptions during negotiations, and it also might confuse the public if they are made aware of any negotiations that just simply aren't finalized right now. Stacey?
All right. Georgia MacArthur live for us. Thank you.
The son of former Bay Area Congressman Bill Young is facing some serious charges tonight. Investigators say Patrick Young had inappropriate conversations and received explicit photos from a 15-year-old. He faces several charges, including possession of child pornography. Two teenage boys are believed to be involved in a string of burglaries out of Hernando County over the weekend. They happened early Saturday morning in a Spring Hill shopping plaza. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office says the two teens broke into the plaza's circuit breaker box and shut off the electricity. One business was robbed of $160. Another business told us the teens took nothing but left behind plenty of damage.
It sucks because I just opened up and this is an unexpected cost that I have to go ahead and pay for. I have 3 kids. I have 2 kids, one on the way, and it's hard.
Deputies say they arrested one teen and they believe they know the second teen involved.
Sarasota police are ramping up their enforcement of unlicensed jet ski rentals on the water. The Marine unit says it is an issue that they run into almost weekly. Body cam video shows an incident last month on South Lido Key. Police say an 18-year-old was arrested for renting out a jet ski without a livery permit. Last summer, a minor league baseball player was killed in a jet ski crash in that same area. FWC announced last month that he rented from an unlicensed operator who was charged earlier this year.
Farmers in our area saw a lot of their crops wiped out from that February freeze. Well, now the crops that did survive are getting picked, but it's late. Our Polk County Bureau reporter Stacy DeSilva spoke to one farmer about the impact.
In February, it got so cold and windy that the normal freeze protections for berries didn't work. Now, all this time later, after a delay, it's finally time to pick.
We'll be picking this week. I think the crop is just starting. It's just beginning.
David Weber calls it an odd year. He would know. He's been growing blueberries since 1988, a pioneer for the fruit in Polk County.
This year was an unusual year because of the high winds and the low humidity, and it made it almost impossible to freeze protect.
Weber captured these images in February of his crop at the Florida Blueberry Nursery near Winter Haven. Icy branches, ruined blooms, and piles of trees and limbs that broke under the weight of the ice.
Any flowers, or even a little bit before this, the closed flowers of the varieties that were out were frozen. Anything past bloom was frozen.
In total, he says he lost half of his early varieties, which had already bloomed. His later varieties fared better.
The weight of the ice broke that, but it's still hanging on.
According to the University of Florida IFAS Extension in Hillsborough County, growers lost anywhere from 20 up to 70% of their crop from the extreme cold. Many, Weber says, are relying on crop insurance. Those with fruit to pick are doing so later. Another hit for farmers since prices are higher earlier in the year.
This was just an odd year, and so, we deal with what we have this year, and, you just go on and do what you can, collect what you can get, and we wait for next year.
Weber says he's going to start the harvest in earnest Thursday, marking a very late start to the harvest due to the freeze. Reporting in Polk County, I'm Stacy DeSilva, 8 on your side.
The state of Florida put Ted Bundy to death more than 3 decades ago.
But tonight, he officially has another victim, and investigators are finally able to close the case on a young woman's murder by taking a new look at some old evidence. Still ahead, a Bay Area expert explains how even more cold cases could still be linked to that infamous killer.
Install our free WFLA streaming app. Watch live newscasts, plus original content like Tracking the Tropics. It's available right now on Roku, Apple TV, Samsung Smart TV, and Fire TV. Thank you for making News Channel 8 at 6, Tampa Bay's most watched 6 p.m. newscast.
Utah authorities announcing today that they have closed a 52-year-old cold case in Utah and definitely tied it to the serial killer Ted Bundy. Now, Bundy was put to death in Florida in 1989 for a series of murders that he committed at Florida State.
Today, the victim's family in Utah spoke out about the impact on closing this decades-old case. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson reports that a Florida expert on the Bundy case says there are still undiscovered murders that Bundy committed that have not been solved.
There is one man at St. Leo University in Pasco County who knows the Ted Bundy case and serial killers in general better than just about anybody else, and he is not surprised by today's announcement.
We now have definitive evidence proving that Theodore Ted Bundy murdered Laura, and we can announce that this case is officially closed.
In Utah County, the sheriff announced today Ted Bundy murdered 17-year-old Laura Ann Amy in 1974.
That evidence has endured the years and was pristine.
Investigators used new DNA technology to link Bundy to the crime.
I was 12 when Laura died. She was 17, but we were really close.
Today, Laura's sister spoke for the family, thanking investigators for closing a case that has lingered for 52 years.
It's really quite amazing that people even are still interested in Laura's case. But I appreciate it. I really appreciate the evidence team.
Dr. Joseph Sillo at St. Leo University has studied the Bundy case extensively.
Why was he a killer? Because he was addicted to it. He was born to be a serial killer.
Dr. Sillo says the murder of Laura Ann Amy is exactly like many of Bundy's other killings.
He was addicted to sexual violence. He couldn't get sexual satisfaction without the violence and terror that he instilled in his victims.
The murder of Laura Ann was gruesome, her body buried in American Fork Canyon in Utah. Bundy admitted to her murder just before he was executed in Florida.
Although Bundy did claim that he committed the murder of Laura, the confession he gave was deemed to be not enough evidence to close the case.
Sheriff Mike Smith says the DNA profile for Bundy they developed for this case will help other jurisdictions solve their cold cases. Dr. Sillo says Bundy moved across the country from Washington State to Utah and eventually Florida, killing women everywhere he went.
He moved from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. He was a master at that.
Dr. Sillo believes there are still bodies to be uncovered and cases that will still be linked to Ted Bundy that are still out there. In Pasco County, Jeff Patterson, 8 on your side.
And still to come, we want to give you one more live look from the Kennedy Space Center there on Merritt Island as the Artemis II prepares to launch just minutes from now. Our coverage of this historic mission continues coming up.
The death and resurrection of Jesus may be the most powerful story in history.
But did it happen exactly as the scriptures say? Chris Cuomo takes you on a journey at the crossroads of history and faith. The Mystery of Easter, Saturday at 8, only on News Nation.
Well, we are getting close to the launch of the Artemis II, but apparently the clock's in a holding pattern right now.
Yeah,
right?
so
but I don't know if that's normal or not.
Let's find out. Amanda Holly's on it. She's right there at Kennedy Space Center. What is going on, Amanda?
Yes, so we are holding at T-minus 10 minutes, which is a built-in hold, a position where they can pause the countdown if they need to do some additional checks, and they have been doing a couple of things, working through a couple of things that have popped up just within the last couple of minutes, but they just polled their launch panel for go for launch, and we are go for launch. They have not officially set a new launch time, so we're not launching at 6:24. Obviously, because we're holding at T-minus 10 minutes. So waiting that new launch time, but at the moment we are officially go for launch.
All right, that's good news. We are going to continue to follow this, of course. We'll stick with you. In the meantime, though, we are going to...
Well, we know that the weather's not going to be an issue here because the weather has, even though they had a little bit of rain, that's not the concern, is it, Rebecca Berry?
No, for once the weather cannot be blamed. And so they actually upgraded, you and I were talking about this just a moment ago, Stacey, they upgraded it from an 80% go to a 90% go just based on the weather. Those showers cleared out. There's no clouds in the flight path. Things are looking really nice. The winds are cooperating as well. So.
And we'll let you know when the clock starts again. Right now it's paused at 10 minutes.
10 minutes, so we know it's at least 6:32, 33 before this thing goes off.
If you guys hear,
but it's still planned according to Amanda.
Right.
To go.
Absolutely. And so we're really fingers crossed there. I am worried about the fact that our weather may stop us from seeing a little bit. So let's take a look at your forecast.
Max Defender 8, the most accurate weather radar in Florida. Sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
All right, and so this is what I'm worried about. You see the clouds out there? I'm worried that we may not be able to see it, so I want you to make sure you have your second screen going so you are able to see it once the actual launch time rolls around, because I'm not confident that we're going to get some good clear views to see that smoke trail. If we do get it, it would be about 30 seconds after the actual launch. But temperatures are really nice for everyone out there enjoying the evening, 78 degrees locally. Here's one more look at the Cape. You can see how dry it is. Those showers that were over the Cape earlier this afternoon that people were starting to get a little upset about. Those easterly winds pushed those through Polk County where they faded, and now generally looking a lot drier on Max Defender 8. We have some small showers in Manatee County. We have some small showers down in Highlands County as well. And so this is what we're looking at on Max Defender 8. Things are looking nice and quiet. We're not seeing any signs of building showers. We're just seeing quiet and calm conditions. And so for tonight, the sun sets at 7:47 and the moon is full. It is going to be absolutely gorgeous. We got a couple of photos from you guys yesterday when it was 98% full, and those are beautiful. I can't wait to see tonight's. You will have to wait for a few clouds to clear out, but that should happen pretty quickly after sunset. Sunrise is at 7:18 tomorrow morning, and look how comfortable we're going to be in those upper 60s at that point. We'll see some building clouds by the middle of the day, and then we've actually got a decent chance to get swiped by a shower tomorrow. We're adding a southerly component to the winds. They'll be out of the southeast. Anytime there's a southerly component to the winds, that increases the moisture because that's tropical air headed our way. And so the showers that do pop up during the afternoon hours will be a tad more robust. They'll pack a little bit more of a punch in terms of rainfall, and they'll linger a bit longer into the evening hours. So I'm hoping that we can get some good soaking rain tomorrow to help out with our lawns, of course. Now, as we head into Friday, it's hot. Upper 80s, record challenging heat, and a little drier with only a smattering of showers out there. Moving into Saturday, any showers that form, and they will be few and far between because Saturday's one of the drier days and hotter as a result. We've only got a few isolated showers on Saturday afternoon. Moving into Sunday, I know it's Easter, but it's going to be a hot Easter. Sometimes we have a cooler Easter, not this one. It's a hot Easter. We'll have a couple of inland showers popping up. We're calling it about a 30% chance for rain on Sunday. Moving into Monday, building clouds and increasing showers ahead of a cold front. It's a late season cold front, but I think you're going to like it because it knocks our temperatures down into the 70s instead of the 80s for just a couple of days. Tomorrow's a really good chance to see some showers. After that, they're spottier until Tuesday rolls around. Tuesday's the next day that we're going to see a significant chance for rain, and it's associated with that cold front. Here's what the cold front does to our afternoon highs. Mid to upper 70s out there on Tuesday and Wednesday, and barely at 80 by the time next Thursday rolls around. So your Easter weekend's going to be one of the warmer ones. Saturday's the warmer and drier day, but only in some inland isolated showers on Sunday. Leaving you with a look at your 8-day forecast. We've got some decent chances for rain. We've got some hot temperatures and some more comfortable ones on the way.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. Let's take a live look over at Kennedy Space Center where we know things are on pause. We're waiting to hear when that countdown clock with 10 minutes on it will resume.
But Artemis 2 is going to make history. Apparently, the clock is running.
There it is.
9 minutes, 6 seconds, and counting down. 4 astronauts on board, about to take a tour around the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. 1972, the last time we had a launch like this.
You know what? This is an expensive and exciting flyby of the moon. We just hope it goes off as planned. You can see the new countdown clock. We are going to wrap things up here from News Channel 8, but of course on nightly news, they will have the very latest. They have a full crew over at Cape Canaveral as well.
And we'll watch it live right here with the rest of you as it happens. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here tonight for News Channel 8 at 11.
Good night.